Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Bolo Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari
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 Giridhari Shyama Banawari
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 Jai Jai Radhe Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe
Jai
Radhe
Jai Radha
Radhe
Jai Jai Radha
Radhe
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari
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 Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari
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 Giridhari Shyama Banawari
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 Bolo Giridhari Shyama Banawari
Govinda mero hey Gopala mero hey
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 Sri Banke Bihari Nandalala mero hey.
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 Jai Jai Radhe Radhe Radhe.
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 Radhe Radhe
Jai Jai
Radhe.
Radha.
Radhe.
Jai Jai Radha.
Radhe.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
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 Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari. Jai Jai Radhe.
Radhe.
Haribo.
Haribo.
It's so short and so sweet, that one.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. If you'd like to join us on Zoom, please email us at krishnakirtanmusic@gmail.com with your first name and last name and the reason why you would like to get in. And we'll have you on the guest list so that you can join us on Zoom. We love to see you live as well. And thank you as well for listening on Facebook and on YouTube. It's nice to sing with you.
So this particular kirtan, it is really sweet, and it's often really nice to do it as part of a larger, say, maha mantra kirtan, but it's also just so sweet in and of itself. And I've heard renditions of it at full speed, and I've heard renditions of it pulled back and like really, really super sweet. So it has many moods. But what is so nice about it is that it is a beautiful meditation on Krishna in the mood of Vrindavan. So I heard a Swami say once, first you must learn that Krishna is God, and then you must forget it. And the reason for that statement is, first we need to understand tattva, right? But then we also need to pull away the awe and reverence and connect on a personal, intimate level, whatever that relationship might be. It might be as friend. It might be, so many different flavors, Vatsalya rasa, parental or guardian, or you could be helping the romantic leelas. You could be, perhaps a manjari, helping the divine loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So there are different relationships, but the prevailing concept is one that is takes away the awe and reverence, because within the awe and the reverence there is a disconnect. There's kind of like, I'm not going to show you all of me, because if you see all of me you might not like it, and I'm terrified of you. That's awe and reverence. It's like your boss at work. You don't tell them everything about you, and you sure hope they don't know everything about you, So we'll go over the names that are included in this mantra, and then we'll go over the rag itself. So it's very similar to another one we do a lot. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Haribo. Although I don't remember that melody now. When you're stuck in a melody that you're doing. So Radha Ramana. So Radha, she is the goddess of love. She is the energetic yin feminine principle of the Godhead. And her love for Krishna is so enchanting that it absolutely overwhelms him, and he takes on her name and he becomes Radha Ramana, because he's enchanted by the goddess of love, Radha. So even though it might sound like a name for Radharani, it's a name for Krishna, but describing him as just absolutely besotted by the goddess of love. And we often think of that concept that we are purchased by love, you know? And so that's the only kind of purchasing or perhaps indentured servant or that slave concept. The only purified concept of slavery is that slavery that is as a result of absolute love, right? And then Radha Ramana, Giridhari, Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. So Giridhari, so he is Dhara, he is the lifter of Govardhan Hill. So often we see Krishna depicted as there's
Lifting.
this in classical Indian dance, you know, there'll be this and it's he's lifting Govardhan Hill, and it's considered, some people are left-handed, but Krishna's not left-handed. So the fact that he's lifting it with his pinky on his left hand is just kind of saying, yeah, that's how hard it is for me. I'm going to lift it with the weakest part of my body. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari, Giridhari Shyama Banawari. Shyama. So what is Shyam?
Is the color.
Yes,
And
so dark color.
Yes.
So Krishna is dark, and Shyam is kind of the color of a
Dark cloud.
dark rain cloud, just about ready to burst. I know sometimes I'm going for a walk and I'm like, oh, that cloud looks far away. And then the next time you look around, it's like right over you. And you know that color cloud that's like just about to break. So this beautiful bluish, blackish color, this is Shyam. And so Krishna is this beautiful color. Banwari, okay, Bana. Bana and Vana. So sometimes the B's and the V's are interchangeable. Actually, Spanish is like that too. You guys interchange some of the letters, right?
V as in Victor and B as in boy.
Yeah. Not written, but when you say it, it sounds like one or the other. We always say, which one are you saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Bana and Vana, this is the forest. So Vrindavan is considered Vrinda, right? So Vrinda is a Tulsi plant. It's also the goddess Tulsi. But she is she's also a plant. She's a plant personified, and the groves of Vrindavan are filled with Tulsi plants. So it's a forest, and Krishna's known to play in these beautiful groves of the forest. So he's Banawari. And the thing about Banawari, you know when you hear that we're not talking about Krishna in the time of Bhagavad Gita. We're not talking about Dwarka, we're talking about Krishna in Vrindavan. See, in Dwarka, everybody knows the deal. Everybody knows Krishna's God. But in Vrindavan, nobody knows. They just think he's this naughty little boy who also happens to be able to vanquish these really heavy mystic yogis that have come to cause havoc. Somehow this little baby can destroy demons, but then they forget again because they're just so in love with this little child. So when we hear Banawari, we know it's his Vrindavan pastimes. It's the intimate pastimes where he's just a baby. He's just a little baby, right? And then Banawari, and then Govinda mero hai, Gopala mero hai. Yeah. So Govinda and Gopala, these use the word go, and go is actually has a lot of different meanings, but essentially we can just say that it describes him as the carer of the cows and as the protector of the cows, because in Vrindavan, see, he really wasn't born to these parents in Vrindavan. They're his foster parents, and they were protecting him because he was in danger. So he was raised in this very out-of-the-way village where nothing's going on here. Move it along, nothing to see here, because they're just cow herders. So every family has a few cows. It's not like dairy farming in modern day, where it's absolute cruelty. The cows, when they're giving birth, they also are giving milk, and when they're not with calf, then they're not giving milk. it's not this cruel dairy industry. Every family has a few cows. And the role of the young boys is to care for these cows and take them out to pasture. And throughout the day, they have all these games and fun, and they get up to all sorts of mischief. So, and he is the son of the chief cowherd. So he is Govinda and Gopala. Govinda mero he, Gopala mero he, Sri Banke Bihari. Banke Bihari, so one of the famous temples in Vrindavan. But what does it mean? Banke means kind of broken in 3 places. And Bihari is the supreme enjoyer. So it's describing Krishna. So you know the most beautiful form of classical Indian dance, Odissi. It's like the head is this way, the body's that way, and then the base is this way. So it's Tribhanga. It's a 3-fold bending form. And this is describing him as the one with that 3-fold bending form, that supreme enjoyer. And so it's another descriptive term for Krishna. Sri Banke Bihari Nandalala mero he. So Nandalala, so lala is like niña. It's like a little kid, right? And so it's kind of like saying it's Nanda's little kid. Often we refer to people as, that's Susa's kid, And so he is Nandalala, and he's very adorable, this little kid. And his pastimes in Vrindavan go up to the age of 8. So he's not a baby. He's got absolute sense of self. He's sort of a tween. It's a magical time for a kid. All the independence of a fully fledged human, but with none of the responsibility. It's actually like the best time. It's actually the best. It all goes downhill once you start getting responsibility. And mero, it means is mine. So he's my Govinda, he's my Gopala, he's my Banke Bihari, he's my Nandalala. So it's just a very joyful, it's a joyful kirtan, just yelling out all the beautiful descriptive names of Krishna from a very particular time in his life when there were no responsibilities, it was all play, it was all intimate friendships and none of the work that came with Dwarka, Battlefield of Kurukshetra, philosophy, so much philosophy. The closest we got to maybe philosophy was Krishna opening his mouth and letting Mother Yasoda see all the universes in his mouth. But then he closed it because it's kind of like, I don't want to, they say in acting to break the 4th wall, So he didn't want to break the 4th wall of this simple time in Vrindavan where everyone can just interact with God, but in a completely informal way.
Beautiful.
And so this is the mood. This is the mood of Gaudiya Vaishnavism.
Time to sing it.
Yes, and confirmed by the neighbor's dog.
Yes.
So I do want to say though, I think this is a really traditional kirtan, so it wasn't like it was taught to me by a Hindustani, classical Indian teacher. So it's more like I had to look at it and say, well, what do I think it is? And I think it's Kafi Rag because Kafi Rag has Komal Ga and Komal Ni. All the others are Shuddha Swaras. But Shuddha Ni or natural Ni and natural Ga can make an appearance. So the Aro and Avro for Kafi is Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni ra pa ma ga re sa sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni ra pa And a kirtan in Kafi Rag is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. There's also an Ayindra melody. How's
Very
that one
similar.
go? Yeah. So it has the same mood. So Kafi Rag, it's considered a Shudra Rag, and so we know, Brahmanas is the priestly class, Kshatriyas are the warriors, and everyone's like, oh, I'm a Kshatriya, I'm a Brahmana. And it's like, honey, in this day and age, we're all Shudras, so don't get too proud. So really, to call it a Shudra Rag is actually not a criticism. It just kind of is what it is. So in this day and age, we're all kind of basic, and so what's nice about a Shudra Rag is that there's a lot of freedom within a Shudra Rag, and we can, so essentially Kafi Rag is not, pure Kafi Rag is not really played now. Everything that we play with Kafi is Mishra, is mixed. So this one is also mixed because we have, instead of sa-re-ga, we have sa-re-ga-ga. Like we play both gas and we play both knees. And what's interesting about Kafi Rag is that it first made its appearance in the 15th century. So it is a real Gaudiya Vaishnav Sankirtan Rag. So many of the kirtans are in Kafi Rag, and Kafi Rag, the rasa that goes with Kafi Rag is Shringara, so it's divine love, but it has both elements of union and separation. And so it's considered a bit restless, this rag. And historians first made note of it in the 15th century in a rag Tarangini by a Lochana Pandit from the Mithili district. So anyway, I love Kafi Rag. I'm a huge fan of it. And so this is in Kafi Rag. So now let's get our meditation back to where it should be. And the beautiful thing about doing kirtan or doing our practice is there are going to be sirens. There are going to be dogs barking. I mean, this is life. There are babies crying. So how do we stay focused throughout it? And we immerse in the meaning of the kirtan. So the meaning of this one, what I would love us to do is to meditate on the Vrindavan pastimes. So first, think of God. Now forget He's God and just reach out like a friend, like a guardian, like helping the divine love affair. Like reach out in the mood that you're called and make that our meditation.
Yes. I also want to give a shout out to our friends in Germany, our friends also on YouTube writing Godhead Krishna Love and Katka Sanusimi. Send us some flowers. Virtual
lovely.
flowers. We're still flowers.
You know, the thing is, Krishna can smell those.
Oh, so sweet.
Because every sense performs the functions of the other senses. So thank you. And also thank you to our dear friend in Germany for joining as well. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari.
Haribo.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. 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 Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari.
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 Giridhari Banawari.
Jai Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama 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 Banawari.
Jai Jai Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe
Jai Jai
Radhe.
Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari. Bolo.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
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 Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari.
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 Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
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 Jai Jai Radha.
Radhe.
Jai Jai Radha.
Radhe.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Govinda mero hai, Gopala mero hai.
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 Sri Banke Bihari Nandalala 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 mero hai.
Govinda mero hai, Gopala 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 mero hai.
Sri Banke Bihari Nandalala 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 mero hai.
Jai Jai Radha,
Radhe,
Jai Jai Radha,
Radhe,
Jai Jai Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe, Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe, Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe,
Jai Jai
Radhe.
Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Bolo. Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari, Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari, Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Radha Ramana Giridhari, Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari.
Giridhari Shyama Banawari. Giridhari Shyama Banawari. Jai Radha Ramana ki.
Jai,
Banawari ki.
Jai,
Banke Bihari ki.
Jai,
Govinda ki.
Jai,
Gopala ki. Nandalala ki.
Jai. Radhe, Radhe.
Radhe,
So
Radhe.
nice to sing with you all. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice to see you. And also thank you for all your comments. It's so lovely.
Aw,
Thank you.
If you want to join the Kirtan family, please go to patreon.com/Krishna Kirtan Music. And I also want to say what happened just a couple of days ago was the disappearance of Srivas Pandit. But when we say disappearance, it sounds like really sad. But the thing is that these ecstatic personalities, we celebrate their appearance and their disappearance because we understand that never was there a time when we did not exist. And so Srivas Pandit is a very important person. He's part of the Pancha Tattva, and he was very instrumental in helping the Sankirtan movement. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first started doing his tumultuous kirtans, they were at the house of Srivas Pandit. And in fact, the sort of mayor of the area, the Chankazi, sent some people to break up the party, and they even broke a mrdanga. And then Chaitanya brought the kirtan party to the Chankazi's house and explained what he was doing. And the Chankazi was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. No one in my dynasty will ever shut down your kirtan again." And so such a beautiful example of you can be of different spiritual faiths, but we actually take the time to talk to each other and explain what we're doing, we find that there's a lot of similarity in what we're doing.
Lovely.
And so in celebration of the Kirtan movement and the beautiful Kirtans that we get to sing, we want to give a big shout out and an honor to Srivas Pandit.
Lovely.
And with that,
and also, I want to invite you to your support goes towards the recordings that we have on YouTube. So let me share with you also the channel. It is youtube.com/C/Krishna Kirtan Music. And
we have playlists that are just from the class, and we have playlists that are just Maha Mantra only, and then we have playlists that are other mantras.
That's correct. And please set up your Kirtan alarm for 7 p.m. Los Angeles time and 7 p.m. Sydney, Australia time, depending whatever works best
But
for
you
you.
need to say a day.
On every Wednesday.
So
It's
7 p.m.
weekly,
Wednesday, Sydney,
not every
and
day.
7 p.m. Wednesday, Los
One day we'll do
Angeles.
it.
It happens to be Thursday in other parts of the world.
Yes.
So anyway.
So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your lovely comments, and shout out to Yash Gupta, also for the beautiful comments. Yes.
Yeah, and thank you for your support. We really appreciate it, just because it just let's keep the Kirtan going and available for everyone.
Yes, and once again, if you'd like to join us on Zoom, please email us at krishnakirtanmusic@gmail.com. And for you on Zoom, please stick around so we can go over any questions that you may have. Yes.
Catch up with each other and go over the rag and the melody and all that.
Yes, well, Radhe, thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, Haribo.